As I, like many, waited for Saturday to hear what Disneyland Paris has to say regarding current and upcoming projects on their 33rd anniversary celebration, Universal came out of the blue and took all the spotlights from Hollywood in Disney Adventure World and showcased to the world their newest theme park resort to be built in Bedford, north of London. Today is an unexpected video, but one I've been waiting for more than a year. So let's not waste any more time and get into what matters. Universal Great Britain. It was in December 2023 that Theme Park Stop revealed that Universal Destinations and Experiences had bought a parcel of land north of London in the town of Bedford. This land was supposedly to be used by the American company to build their theme park resort in the European continent, a very large market that has seen little to no Universal presence after having control of the Spanish theme park Portaventura for a few years. A short time after the incredible article by Alicia Stella was published, Universal came out and announced that they were indeed looking into expanding their theme park business with a new park in Europe to be called Universal Great Britain, and placed exactly where they had bought land. But while this was exciting news, the company was still in the very early stages of development, and there was a long road still to be walked before any official announcement or confirmation was given. With the time passing by, several developments happened in Bedford and some of the towns nearby, as well as studies conducted on the ground in order to make sure everything was how it should be in case the company decided to move forward. A few bits and pieces of information then appeared with a possible land usage to showcase how a Universal resort would change the area, placing the hotel, theme park, car parking, train and transportation hubs, and more. This was a clear sign that things were moving in the right direction, but after April 2024, things quietly continued moving behind closed doors. Now, with Universal's biggest park slowly opening up to the public in Orlando, some focus has shifted to the next big thing. It was nearly a year after the last major update in a random Tuesday night that it became official. Universal is coming to Europe. Alongside the announcement, Universal shared a first look into what the park will be like once it opens in the form of a concept art, one that's as vague as it could be as to not fully confirm any land's theme or IPs used throughout the park. We, however, can most definitely find a few of the properties to be used here. Let's start examining the artwork then. Out of the gate, we can see that the park is heavily inspired by Universal Studios Beijing, just like I predicted it would be many months ago. This makes perfect sense, seeing how well designed and received the Chinese park has been. It revolves around a central lagoon that you reach by going down the Hollywood-themed Main Street. And around the water, many themed lands are ready to be explored. Let's start in the entrance. As said by Universal several months ago, a retail and dining area would be a part of the project, and we can see the start of that here. This building looks very similar to the toothsome chocolate emporium, without some of its theming, which would make the entrance hub that shopping and dining district. There isn't much more here other than the large and iconic Universal Globe, but that doesn't mean a more developed CityWalk can exist. We just haven't seen it yet. What we can see are some other buildings on the left and the large archway entrance to the park. Before going into it, it's very important to note that this is the first official look into the project. Things are left very vague on purpose, and the lands in the park will eventually look quite different. When Universal Beijing was first announced, this was how they showcased it. Completely different to the final product, and again, very vague. So things may end up being very different. As you pass through the turnstiles, you are instantly hit with all the glitz and glamour Hollywood is known for. This land welcomes you in, acting as the Main Street USA of the park, and leading guests into its heart. On the right side, we see many iconic facades brought all the way from the other side of the Atlantic, and behind them, all the stores that are expected. In the middle of the street is a large theater entrance. While this could be a ride, I believe it's for one of the stage shows in the park, similarly to Beijing's, where How to Train Your Dragon show Untrainable debuted several years ago. Well, I could say it would make more sense for this to be the large stage theater in the park. It could also be a new version of the special effects show Lights, Camera, Action, hosted by Steven Spielberg, bringing the behind the scenes of a movie production right into the spotlight. In the end of the area to the right, it looks like a small Jaws area can be seen, perhaps with a restaurant, bringing some of the classic IPs to the table in some way here. On the left side of the street, things are different from any other Universal park, because blending with the rest of the land is the large Universal Great Britain Hotel. This will allow guests to stay inside the magic of the park, becoming a part of it, and not on the entrance or in the back like what we've seen Universal do before. The Hollywood-themed hotel is said to have 500 rooms, being the only way to spend the night at Universal property in the beginning of the resort. We can see that a good part of the rooms will be on the north wing, with half not only overlooking the land beneath, but the lake and all the lands around it. This will be the perfect room location. We've now reached the lake. Let's begin with the small land to the left. Comprised of what seems to be 3 flat rides in a building, possibly a merchandise location, restaurant, or entertainment venue, this land appears to be aimed at families and kids. Teacups, a maze or playground, and a balloon spinner ride themed to unknown properties will serve an important demographic. But this is a Universal park. What characters can be found here? Speculation amongst many have the cutest bear Paddington as the frontrunner, which would be a great way to incorporate a beloved British character and IP in the park. Unlike the area we went through now, on the right side of the lake, we are sure about what it is we're seeing, that being Minion Land, straight from Beijing. According to the concept, this land is one of the few clones in the park, featuring several attractions, restaurants, and shops. In Beijing, the land is home to Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, the simulator attraction also found in Orlando, the family coaster Loop-Dee-Doop-Dee, a spinner ride Super Swirly, a Minion meet and greet, and the Sing on Tour, an energetic concert from the world of Sing. This is quite a large land, recreating many locations from the Despicable Me movies and others from Illumination's library. Speaking of, one of the more mysterious areas of the park, and one I believe will change the most from this concept, is what can be seen on top of Minions. It has been identified as a possible Shrek land, seeing this building is based on the Poison Apple pub from the second Shrek film. It's unknown if the rest of this area will carry on that theme, but seeing how successful and recognizable that franchise is, I could certainly see it happening, especially since the large building in the back could easily be a dark ride, creating a nicely crafted Shrek land. Out of all the lands in the concept, this is the one that looks the most vague and simple, hinting at a possibility of it being just a placeholder for the real land to be revealed at a later date. In fact, all the lands could just be placeholders, but something about this specific one makes it feel the most likely. Before moving to the largest land in the park, we have to cover a land whose theme has been debated quite a bit since the announcement. Right after the kids zone we went through earlier, I believe there are many possible IPs and franchises that this land could incorporate, but there's one I think would fit in perfectly from what we can see in the artwork, that being Back to the Future. First of all, the land is in the perfect shape of Hill Valley, with the square having buildings on both sides and a larger one in the center, which in this case would be the courthouse with a famous clock tower. Secondly, the smaller land is home to an outdoor amphitheater on the lake, perfect for an energetic 80s music concert. And the main attraction here is a very thrilling roller coaster, seemingly a launch coaster, with an absolute monster of a spike. Now, there could be countless other themes, But I personally want to believe that Universal will finally bring Back to the Future back into the parks in such a big way, seeing that the franchise has been given new life with a spectacular stage show, which, by the way, debuted in London some years ago. This, alongside the Kidland beneath it, are the two areas of the park where the least can be seen and understood. That, however, is not the case with what is happening on top of them. As you pass through a wooden bridge, Jurassic World comes into view. This is the main land, the biggest draw of the park on opening day, and it delivers. In terms of attractions, there appear to be three large ones. On the left, after entering the land, there are two drop towers, perhaps a new version of Doctor Doom's Fearfall, these that seem to jump out of dinosaur enclosures. In front of it, a building closely resembling Beijing's gift shop Jurassic Traders is connected to what might be the biggest show building in the park. Inside, one of the huge e-ticket attractions of the land, this being a possible clone of what is one of the best dark rides anywhere in the world, Jurassic World Adventure, where you explore the park before and after things take a wrong turn and a huge dino fight happens before your very eyes. The building's shape closely resembles Beijing's, even if it looks somewhat different. This could have been done exactly as to not give away any confirmation. As you continue to move into the land, the largest coaster of the park comes into view, stretching from the back of it right into the lake, looking like a mixture of Velocicoaster and the Incredible Hulk coaster. Several other buildings can be seen here too, whose function isn't known just yet. If Jurassic World ends up with all this, it might become one of the best lands in all of Europe, and adequately serve as this park's big thing. In the back of the park, separated via a single walkway, is a very large stunt show venue. This that appears to be the now very famous Waterworld show, an incredible and energetic stunt show that is sure to serve many thrills. With that, we've covered most of what's to see in this concept art, but that's not all Universal revealed yesterday. They said that the project has been given the green light from their side, and that a planning proposal will be submitted to the UK government in the coming months. This to be done in order for construction to start as soon as possible, sometime in 2026. Everything is still subject to planning approval, but it's moving at incredible speeds. So, when is it set to open? Well, Universal expects the resort to be ready to open, if everything proceeds as it should, in 2031. That's just 5 years from start of construction to opening. Some people seemed somewhat underwhelmed with the concept art, expecting something more. Well, it's important to remember that what we see now is very possibly not what we'll get in the end, but also that the park appears to have two very large expansion plots. From the artwork alone, there should be more in the actual park when it opens. These most likely already have IPs to be placed there, and with Universal wanting to go slow, starting with a great lineup, but also growing quite a bit from there, I could see major expansions, opening not long after, perhaps with other incredible, famous IPs. The lack of cloned rides from Orlando and Harry Potter is also something we already expected, seeing that the company doesn't want the UK resort to sabotage their flagship resort. The lack of The Boy Who Lived, though, seems to be due to an agreement with Warner Brothers and the closeness to the Harry Potter tour. However, I'm sure that in the future, these differences could eventually be overcome, and a new land based on the films could be built, which would in a way be big enough to completely relaunch the park. Now, all that is my speculation. When it comes to concrete things, there were more bits of information shared throughout the night, such as the official estimation of 8.5 million visitors in the opening year. But there's still so much more to come. With the filing of the permits to construction beginning, we will be following everything that happens with Universal Great Britain right here in the channel. So if you want to come along with me for the ride, make sure to subscribe and like this video. Now, I ask you, what do you think about the proposed lands and rides? Let me know down below. And now, as always, thank you for watching, and that's a wrap.